The explosions in Gaza and southern Israel echo through history. Israeli and Palestinians divided in a land violently contested. Buildings in parts of Gaza are being flattened by an Israeli bombardment, while Palestinians rain down rockets on Israel. The toll of dead and wounded rises daily. To understand what is happening now, you must go back to 1948, when the State of Israel was founded. After the Nazi genocide of the Second World War, persecuted Jews travelled from around the world to Israel, looking for a new home.
The resolution of the DAC Committee for Palestine was adopted by 33 votes, 13 against.
Arab states refused to recognise the new Jewish homeland, tipping the region into generations of conflict. After war in 1948 and again in 1967, Israel increased its territory. Hundreds of thousands of Palestinians fled or were forced from their homes in what they call the Nakba, or the catastrophe. In defiance of United Nations Security Council resolutions, Israel built settlements for its people in the newly acquired, occupied territories. Thousands of Palestinians took to the streets in the first uprising, or Intifada, in 1987.
We are protesting and demonstrating against harassment. Stay calm together.
Nearly 2,000 people were killed, mostly Palestinians.
The PLO, the parliament, the Palestinian parliament, the PNC had accepted two states, Palestine state and Jewish state, between brackets, Israel.
A year later, the leader of the Palestinian Liberation Organization, Yasser Arafat, surprised the world by denouncing terrorism, recognizing Israel's right to exist, and authorizing the beginning of the Land for Peace negotiations.
ראש הממשלה יצחק רבין.
He began talks with new Israeli leader Yitzhak Rabin.
Prime Minister Rabin, Chairman Arafat, Foreign Minister Peres, Mr. Abbas, welcome to this great occasion of history and hope.
Secret negotiations in Oslo, Norway in 1993 resulted in the signing of the historic peace declaration. 2 months later, at a rally in Tel Aviv, Prime Minister Rabin was assassinated by a Jewish extremist, and the Palestinian peace process stalled. The Islamist group Hamas grew stronger in the void. Hamas launched a wave of suicide attacks against Israeli targets.
We condemn it. We hold the Palestinian Authority responsible for giving it the green light.
How is it going, Mr. President?
In 2000, US President Bill Clinton tried to restart the peace process with an Israeli-Palestinian summit at Camp David. It quickly fell apart, failing to resolve issues of borders, who owns Jerusalem, and the rights of refugees. It sparked the second Intifada. The 5-year uprising was much more violent and deadly than the first, with more than 4,000 people killed. In 2005, Palestinian leader Mahmoud Abbas and Israeli Prime Minister Ariel Sharon announced a suspension of hostilities.
We have agreed that today President Abbas will declare a full cessation of violence against Israelis anywhere.
Israeli troops withdrew from the Gaza Strip after 40 years of occupation. But they still control the airspace, coastal waters and key border crossings. After Hamas seized control of Gaza in 2007, Israel tightened its blockade. In 2008, heavy rocket fire from Hamas against Israeli targets prompted Israel to launch a 22-day onslaught against Gaza, leaving 1,400 Palestinians and 13 Israelis dead. Violence flared again in 2014, ending with an uneasy ceasefire brokered by Egypt.
I'm very, very happy that it happens, but I'm very doubtful about the effectiveness of this ceasefire, because it could be that this is the 14th ceasefire that we are getting in.
The two sides dispute who owns Jerusalem. Israel claims it as its capital. The Palestinians claim East Jerusalem as the capital of a future Palestine. Settlements are another flashpoint, where Israel has built new homes for 600,000 people.
You are stealing my house.
And if I don't steal it, someone else is going to steal it.
Israel has erected an Iron Dome to shoot down 90% of the rockets launched from Gaza. It calls Hamas a violent terrorist organisation, hiding behind civilians, while Hamas claims to represent an oppressed people being victimised by the Jewish state. The violence continues. Million people on both sides of the conflict caught in the crossfire.